The Philippines is a country with a bounty of resources, and yet, despite efforts in making the most of utilizing its precious materials, its inhabitants aren't able to fully enjoy them. These resources get implemented in ways that show that there are far better alternatives and more room for improvement. Most significantly, they provide and perpetuate waste production and the lack of resource mitigation. With the way we make use of our resources, we continuously accelerate the growing issues on our planet. Greenhouse gases, deforestation, glaciers melting, unpredictable storms, and most noticeably, pollution. Our country and our planet are on the road to destruction because of the activities we conduct. On the bright side, these issues are something we can prevent and mitigate. And you might wonder, well, how? That's what I'm here to walk you through with. During our time together, I will provide you with three main points. First is how resource extraction affects us and our environment. Second is what we as a community can do to help mitigate its harmful effects. And finally, what methods can industries take to further prevent environmental damage? Today, the Philippines' energy selection consists of coal, natural gas, renewable energy, and oil-based material. Out of the bunch, coal and natural gas are the mainly employed sources, making up 58 and 21% of the power generation mix respectively. Among the renewable sources in the Philippines, geothermal is the cheapest and most attractive. This is then followed by wind, hydropower, and solar energy. But among this group, hydropower is utilized the most, accounting for 11.8% of the national energy generation. Our water reserves, on the other hand, primarily come from rainfall, surface water resources such as rivers, lakes, and reservoirs, and groundwater resources, which refer to the water found underground in spaces and cracks in soil, sand, and rock. This is then utilized by the country's agricultural, industrial, and domestic sectors. Last but not least, our country primarily focuses on agriculture, which means that our government mainly uses our soil through farming. Thus, it is considered a very valued resource. Rice is the main crop that uses our available land, covering almost half of the cultivated area. However, soil is also harnessed by domestic sectors and industrial sectors to provide shelter for people and to build power plants and factories, respectively. As previously mentioned, coal is the foremost source of energy in our country. Well, it turns out that our reserves are equivalent to 15.6 times its annual consumption, meaning we only have about 16 years of coal left. Likewise, natural gas is in a similar situation. We are facing a mounting crisis regarding our supply depleting in 31 years. On top of all that, coal and natural gas are fossil fuels, making them the contributor of 75% of global greenhouse gas emissions and nearly 90% of all carbon dioxide emissions. On the flip side, renewable energy faces a discrepancy between the growing demand and the way it's supplied in our country. People still rely on fossil fuels because they are cheaper and more reliable than energy harvested from technology, which is expensive and lacks efficiency. Next, we have the main threats regarding our water supply, water pollution, and drought. In our country's location, we interchangeably experience extreme heat due to what we call El Nino and intense storms and rain caused by La Nina every year. This means that during the summer, the nation is subjected to droughts where we face water shortages. Adding to that, urbanization and landscape changes, along with improper waste management, have increasingly impacted water sources. This has caused sedimentation, which only increased water treatment costs, and severe underwater biome disruption, which only led to a decline in marine life populations. What's more, improper waste management makes the water toxic and unsanitary, thereby exposing us to its dangers. Water also travels and is a breeding ground for diseases. Hence, it will affect all other bodies of water it comes into contact with. With unimproved filtration systems and little to no filtration at all, a large chunk of Filipinos still don't have access to clean and sanitized water, especially in impoverished areas. Finally, when it comes to soil, the main issue we are confronted with is soil loss and soil degradation. In a nation like ours, soil can take about 200 years to develop just a single centimeter. This is a result of unsustainable farming practices that cause a huge disturbance to our soil. Other human activities like road construction also subject soil to massive physical disturbances. These consequently lead to soil erosion, desertification, acidification, deforestation, and salinization. However bleak the current state of our resources are, there are still numerous methods society can take to mitigate and prevent the harm we've caused. For coal, research has discovered of new ways to effectively clean it of sulfur and other impurities. Low sulfur coal is also sought after by some environmentally conscious consumers. In addition to that, research addressing the CO2 emissions from coal combustion is in progress. On the flip side, although global warming emissions from natural gas are lower than those of coal and oil, they still pose a huge environmental risk. The main issue in processing natural gas are methane leaks. To prevent this, the natural gas industry should invest more in equipment upgrades and research other leakage-reducing technology. In renewable energy, the issues vary depending on the type of technology used. When harvesting hydropower, changes in flow patterns and loss of ecological life are the biggest impacts. To thwart this, hydropower plants should release minimal amounts of water to avoid disrupting flow patterns and natural habitats. Meanwhile, solar power plants require significant land area to keep up with energy demands, which results in deforestation. Floating solar plants, on the other hand, block sunlight from reaching marine life. To solve this, huge power plants should be built on low-quality land, such as brownfields and abandoned mining land. When it comes to the challenges regarding water, proper waste management is the key to keeping our reserves sanitary. Communities should practice strictly implementing the proper segregation and disposal of waste, as well as regular cleaning around the area. Another great way to conserve water is to moderate your consumption, along with carrying out proper reusing and recycling techniques. There are many possible ways for us to conserve and protect our soil. First and foremost is forest protection. Due to commercial activity, the natural forest covers in various areas have been depleted. Businesses involved in construction can help conserve soil by protecting these areas. Another method is no-till farming. This approach allows crops to remain in place during the season, which helps keep the soil from being left bare and unprotected. Fewer concrete surfaces also help, since concrete in residential areas makes it difficult for water to reach the soil. On a smaller scale, watering the soil also helps nourish it and protects it from wind erosion. To summarize everything, our resources are in severe danger of dissipating. This is due to the negative impact various human activities such as urbanization, improper waste management, and harmful farming practices cause in our environment. Because of this, nations are faced with tremendous pressure to find better resource handling alternatives. But with individual efforts that are as simple as watering soil, proper segregating and composting of waste, decreasing our consumption, and urging others to do so, slowing down the negative sides of resource misuse is widely accessible. Ultimately, it is the responsibility of the people in power to effectively solve our issues when it comes to conserving resources. But their greed and hubris always play a huge role in slowing down much needed progress. When we have no choice but to mistrust these figures, the state of our future is now put in our hands. With a strong communal effort to fight against our planet's impending doom, chances are we may slow down and decrease the impact of climate change on our planet. Remember that while personal efforts may seem insignificant to you right now, it takes a single person to incite change in other individuals. With all our combined efforts, we can be a healing force for Mother Nature.